Okay, so in the past few days, in this week, I have shared many things, including the detailed descriptions of the internal of Wing Chun, the five major problem of Wing Chun in the past 120 years, and so also the Xiu Lim Tao, the name. So we can discuss here. Anybody, you guys have something you like to share or have questions, please feel free to chat, to share your view. So I let everybody who want to start first go ahead.
I, I can start. The 5 things that is wrong with Wing Chun, it was a necessary video. And at least the person that attack you afterwards, it's a natural reaction because at least he has watched the video. And the first thing you do, you don't analyze what you see, because it's the first thing you do is you're protecting what you have paid for and what you have done for a long time. But at least he has watched the video. The second step is that after the first shock from the people, when they get what went wrong, they start to analyze it. And I hope really people do that, because then they will agree with you what went wrong. So at least that is my point of view of that video. It's really necessary. It's coming like a shock for many people, and it's going to be hard for many people to accept it, because that is the first natural reaction, because people has probably spent a lot of money, a lot of time to learn something, and then somebody come with all the evidence and debunk them. That's pretty hard for people to do, but at least then you know they have watched the video. The second step is when they start to analyze it, then they start to realize that you're correct. So that is my point of that. And the internal and the breathing, yeah, it's also you showing it's true and what you need to do to get there. So I think people has easier to take that video and don't get offended, because that video, they don't need to defend their old standpoint and their old knowledge, because this is new knowledge for them. So it's easier for people to accept it and maybe start to trying it out. And it's really necessary, because otherwise you stand and stamp on the same place. You don't develop. You need to develop. You need to get the right knowledge. That is all about. And you need to back it up with evidence. If you can't do it, then it's just fortune telling. And we don't want to do that. We want to be strict technology, and we also wanted to be verified by the wristwatch, whatever you use, and that you get the benefit from what you teaching. Thank you. That was my point.
Okay, I definitely agree with Dick, and he's right. People who don't know things, or let's put it that way, the old stuff for them is, which they paid for so much money, is something they rely on, and the truth hurts. And but when people start to rewatch it and rewatch it again, they will find out, oh, he's right. So and on the breathing and the transportation of it and how to apply that, all that stuff, and the meaning of Cilium Tau and all that stuff, that this is really important to know. And if people dislike it at the beginning, they might go rewatch it and say, okay, there's something which is real, which has to do with reality. So I might change it. Even if of 100 people, only one does it, at least somebody does it. So the people will become more, and you know, 1 of 100, and then we count thousands of 10 of thousand people, then we at least we have 10 people in this, and this is what we're looking for. And the gadgets, they tell you the truth. I work with it. I have my smartwatch, and my watch tells me, okay, today you're not fine, so you better stop training or do more nurture chi, or do more six healing sounds and all that stuff, which heals my body, which recovers my body. And this is important to know, and everybody should know the limitation of his body. And you can have it in the Selim Tao form, 1850. You can have it in the Nurture Chi. You can have it everywhere, but you have to know that. And this is really problematic. And the mistakes, or the 5 things which went wrong in Wing Chun, this covers all things that I'm talking about. And if somebody doesn't have it, that's it's a big problem, because people need to evolve. And if they don't evolve, it's like in every sport, people evolve. If they don't evolve, even in soccer, if they don't evolve, they won't be able to play the fast way they play today. So it's completely different than 30 years ago. So, and the same thing for martial arts. This is my opinion.
So yeah, it's what Jen and the Dingers say. It's true, and yeah, it's important to know the difference between the 1960 and the 8050. So they know, and that's why I do it also, because there are so much things more in the 8050 than I ever learned in the 1960. So it's also the eternal, the breathing, and how you use your body, use your watch, how your heart rate is, and your breathing. There's so much more, and a good explanation of the eternal, and yeah, it's important to know. And if you find it difficult to change, yeah, it is difficult, but I did it too, because I see the difference, and I see so much more effort, and how do you say it? There's so much more things in it to learn better Wing Chun, and to know the eternal and the breathing, and the yeah, it's you have to have a good and clear explanation, so you can learn it and to change in a good way.
I have something more to add on the Selim Tao, the essential detailed training, or detailed essential training. And I have to say, I've learned the Selim Tao 1850 from Henrik, and it is really like the translation says. It's detailed, it's essential, and it's training. So you get to know your body, you know how to handle your body. And if there's something which, for example, in your joints or your bones, if something is stuck, then you immediately notice it, and you try to loosen it up while you're doing the form, all that stuff. And it's really detailed. It's not like the 1960 version of Selim Tao, the little idea form. So having a little idea and having a training which is detailed, essential, it's a real big difference.
Nim Jo, you want to share something?
it's really nice to listen to everyone and their ideas. Yeah, it's funny because I was after writing to you on the comments about, because my name is the Lim of Lim Zhou. It's like the same character, right? So I was trying to explain this to a Wing Chun friend, and it's amazing how much resistance to new information, or to information that people are not used to listening to, or something that changes the way that they think, how much resistance you come against. And it's very frustrating, because you would think that people would be more open, and they would enjoy and love to listen to information coming from the past, and which can enrich Wing Chun today, right? But it seems to be the opposite. It doesn't matter if it's in Europe or in the USA or in China, but the resistance is always the same. It's like, people are not willing to change their ideas in any way, because, I don't know, for example, maybe they want it to look more like Kung Fu. They want it to have more of an aspect of Kung Fu. So they're really interested in the visualization of the art and how it's supposed to look, rather than how it's supposed to feel, or what it's supposed to do to your body. And so this whole thing about fighting, they want to know how the 1850s Wing Chun is supposed to look when it's fighting. They're not interested in anything else, but that is the main idea. And you try to explain to them about this little thing about the character, about Lian or Lim, the difference between think, or the difference between essential details, and it's like coming up against a brick wall. People just don't want to change their ideas. And for me, it's quite hard, because I don't have my own organization. I'm not a teacher, I'm not an instructor. I'm just a Wing Chunner and enjoying learning. And my organization is quite open to many new ideas, but even so, it's still quite difficult, for people that have been training for 15, 10, 20 years, to try to get them interested. This is really, it's really hard.
So the truth of this world is, don't ever try to change those who have their belief. Because if you look in the history, Wing Chun was distorted and purposely put in movie to brainwash for somebody's agenda. We like it or not, history is going to write that way. And as how short strike 1850s Wing Chun fight, it is simple. You look at the Shaolin short strike, the drawing with all the description there. You look at the Bubishi of Okinawa, where you use the keizang. And you look at the General Qi Ji Guang. Your bong. It's always there. So I was always joking with my friend. I said, I like the I Walk Alone song, if you guys have listened to it. Okay. He said, well, stay in heaven, I'm never too far from you. Spinning down, I feel your every move. Okay. So it is always there. Like a month ago, this is what I tell in my other video too. The Chinese in Canton developed this so-called Wing Chun set by a guy who don't do Wing Chun. And the Canton Wushu Association okay with it. And That's the thing. You have all the documents from the past. You don't want to read it. You don't want to know about it. And so if you want to fight this way, if you don't know the details, because if you have, you guys all have this book already. It said that here, the entire body must feel with strength, and from head to feet, every joint is changing and spinning. How are you going to get that? The way how you do Xiu Lim Tao and your Wing Chun set today, two things is problem. Number one serious problem is you use your upper body strength and you don't have the strength from your core and your feet or your leg. You don't have that. So that is exactly the opposite of the ancient, where your leg and your core is number one priority and your arm is the second priority. So why is this important? Because a short strike art is a two-stage rocket. When it fires at you, the body goes first and then it shoots out your hand. Okay? So you see your body accelerate and then your hand accelerate. You have two accelerations. Your body momentum go in and then your arm get in. That is the second. So you always have two-stage rocket. Now, if you don't have that, if you go watch Xi Xiaodong's video 2019, saying that Wing Chun is just for girl fighting, it's for demo. Yes, it's fast. You hit like this, it's fast. Just look at that. But you cannot KO like other Western boxing and so forth. Well, it tells you already, you lost the major core of your rockets. Now, if you want to ignore all this technology and taking those in the movie or whoever grandmaster, whoever lineage say as the truth, we know already by technology today, no way you can get pass through Xi Xiaodong's test. We don't even talk about Mas Oyama. We are not even talking about Helio Gracia. Is it Daniel? Is that true? Is that I pronounce right? The grandmaster, the grandfather of the BJJ, Helio. I couldn't hear you. Mike, turn on your mic. I couldn't hear
you. Okay, again, Helio Gracie.
Yeah,
Gracie.
So I'm not talking about Mas Oyama. I'm not talking about Helio Gracie. I'm talking about just Xi Xiaodong, who is nobody compared with those grandmasters. Your Wing Chun, technically proven, you cannot pass through them. You want to be like that? Everybody is free to do their thing. But you know how serious is that? You know how serious is that technological flaw? And it comes back to the 5 things I say. Number one, because you use the structure and you're provoking, saying that about mind power, those things, you completely get off track from MMA, BJJ, Kyokushin, Thai boxing, Western boxing. You live in another world. So I'm not here to badmouth anybody. I'm just saying that this is technical. If you do not, it's just like if we sell a car, right? If you have Mercedes car, you have Toyota, everybody lives in that physics, the car automobile technology. If you don't have that, so if you look at the jiu-jitsu shoot in, isn't the body come in first? Then you do BJJ. Is it true that your body go inside first?
Yes, you have to. At least there's no momentum.
Okay. 460 years ago, who is Qi fighting? The Japanese pirate, and many of Japanese pirate is jiu-jitsu master, because all the katana, the samurai at close range, the one who have jiu-jitsu, who is good in jiu-jitsu win. Am I right, Dick? At that close, you fight that way.
Yes, you have to, and you have to use your body. In jiu-jitsu, you're also using your body.
No.
You have to, because your arms is not strong enough.
460 years ago, the grandfather in China, General Qi Guang, is facing that, and that's why it get to all those four momentum zone and everything. And are you going to tell me that 460 years later, you have your own movie type of Wing Chun, and you expect to fight where your grandfather, great-great-grandfather already tell you that it doesn't work if you don't have that. So everybody like to talk about Bong Sao and all those kind of things, for example. So in the 32, you have many things. So here you have one type of Bong Sao. Over here, you have a second type of Bong Sao. So come on, 460 years ago, they know the technology to the really details. Again, everybody's free to do what you want. But if you check into that thing, you trace into the technology, you know it's dead end already. The way how you do Bong Sao today is problematic, not by anybody's opinion, but in the war zone. Because you know, if we always say, oh, the Kung Fu Wing Chun is for street fight. Did any street fight go worse than this Qi Guang fight in the history? And if that is what people how to say that, prepare for, then you know that where you stand. And also if you want to fight that way, if you don't have the breathing to support it, you cannot do it. Like, you know, over there's the behind chapter here on Qi Guang, how he trained his army with all the stamina, endurance stuff. Now, the Wing Chun have one other thing good in the 1850. The reason for the nurture Qi and the transportation is to gradually get into the training, if one can do it, to the high speed. And also another way, if one cannot do it, or one's sick, like Daniel experienced it past 2 weeks. Sure, you know, like Daniel, he can be sparring. Daniel, you got black belt in BJJ, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the type of typical, I won't say that Daniel is any grandmaster, but he's a typical guy who play BJJ, who play different martial arts. Now, one of the day, he come back and he start coughing and he cannot breathe and he couldn't even lay down to do anyone. So what are you going to do? Can you go do the fighting? Of course you cannot.
Mm.
So you cannot exert your force, and if you forcing it, you're going to damage your body. So at that time, Daniel can tell you, Daniel couldn't even do N1 because it cannot do the system is intercept by the virus that the body cannot rest. So it forced to get into the transportation to help the body to transport. So transportation is very important. It goes two ways. One is if you want to go for hard training, you know how to handle things properly. On another way is when your body need to recover and there's something intercept there, you need to help to remove the blockage or anything so that you can rest. If you cannot rest, like if we cannot sleep, the body is gone. So there's going two-way street now. So that's what Wing Chun have. Does Tai Chi have those kind of stuff? In the ancient, maybe. But right now, we talk about real technology in details. And if you look at like Xing Yi, Tai Chi, those art is known at the late 1800s. Is it even earlier than Wing Chun 1850 and Chai Lei Fan? No, not necessary. Many things are made up after 1870. So now you got this philosophy, you got this image, you got this stories and hearsays, you got this legend that block the entire Qi Ji Guang's teaching and the Shaolin teaching out. So this is the reality we face. So in one way, you will never be able to face Li Xiaodong. Face it. Because you don't have technology. But your opponent have nuclear bomb. You just only have arrow and spear. You're going to fight them. You cannot touch them. And then you look at like karate, like Thai boxing and everything, like Western boxing, all go into the sport science. So it's another word, it's like analogy. They all build their atomic bomb or nuclear bomb, but you stay in the village and have their spear and arrow, and you keeping thinking, oh, I can have this magic, you know. So this is in technological point of view, that is what it is. So that's why I say don't pursue anybody, just do their own job. Because at the end of the day, whether you have the Kung Fu to help you, like Daniel, not fighting, to help your health so that you can get back on your feet, to live on an ordinary life. That require your Kung Fu. So what do you guys think?
So I think it's really good that you're showing it, and I hope that people taking the knowledge you're presenting and try to incorporate it in what they are doing today to improve it, to get at least a little bit closer to the 1815 Wing Chun and combine it with modern sport science, because everybody needs to develop, everybody needs to be open mind and at least test it out. And if you test it out and you see, oh, this is working, then at least you have to admit it's working. It's not fantasy. Yeah.
The problem exactly is not going by book. That is the kiss of death. That's the opium. And if you have been taking those opium for 70 years, 60 years, 50 years, 20 years, it blocks you. That is the opium. That's why I said number one problem of Wing Chun is that not go by book. It's go always my grandmaster. In a Chinese, it said, in Cantonese, usually people say, when you talk something about technical, like I share like this, they will say, Kok Si Kok Fat, meaning that every teacher teach it different. Nimjo, have you heard that? Kok Si Kok Fat. For me, I tell people flat in Asia, you are bullshitting. Why? You can present General Qi Ji Guang Classic in a different style of writing, but the content inside there is always the same. So Kok Si Kok Fat is like, if I met a different people, if he doesn't speak Chinese, he speak English, I speak English. He speak German, I speak German. He speak Italian, I speak Italian. The bottom line is to let him understand what is the content. But right now, Kok Si Kok Fat is for everybody using as an alibi to preach their nonsense. As soon as they don't understand things, they will say Kok Si Kok Fat. So that's why I say, now I'm asking, if you say Kok Si Kok Fat, how come none of your whatever you guys teach is according to General Chi Chi Guang? Is it real? Or it is all your creations? And what is the responsibility of the Chinese? You say Mo Tak. So now you got a problem, okay? And you said Xia Yi, martial hero. What? Xia Yi means if I promise you to do something, I will do the best, no matter how difficult it is, to give you the truth. That is the proper attitude of a martial warrior. But do you do that? Or you more like a Boxer Liberian cult? And that Boxer Liberian cult caused the entire China to going down to the tube. So this is how serious. Now, do I really want people to change? No. I dropped this bomb in the United States is so that we put a pinpoint in the history that this thing exists. It clear out what is General Qi Ji Guang and Chinese Kung Fu. It clean up what Xi Xiaodong said, that what he said have a truth, but it's not the truth. What Xi Xiaodong say is truth. Whatever you see Wing Chun in today is like that. But not the entire truth, because the entire truth in the history is here. And the only way it's safe is put in the United States. As what I said the other day. In China, Cultural Revolution, you wipe out, and luckily the 1850 writing go to Malaysia. If it's not going to Malaysia, it's gone. And then after it's gone, everybody can sitting down there bullshit about Wing Chun is Wang Chun, Wing Chun is White Crane Wing Chun. Do you know what the heck you're talking about? And so sometimes I say that, you know, Chinese, even though they say that, oh, we have to be Mo Tak and everything, they are the one which betray their ancestor. All these grandmaster, I do not respect them anymore. When I was young, I respect them. But when I found out on this thing, that's all. Because you do not walk your talk. You care only for yourself. You don't care for the ancestor. You don't care for the people. You don't care for the culture. But I can only say this in America. If there's no America, I cannot say it. Go ahead, Nimjo, what do you say?
I think the problem is that when people talking about ancestors now, the people that go from Europe or from America and they travel to China, when they're talking about ancestors, they're talking about the last 100 years. They're talking about the last 70 years. Some of these people still are living that they're talking to, and they take this word as canon. You know, they take it and so you say, yeah, but there's something that comes before this, and it's the 1850s Siulim Tao, and okay, it's interesting, but not as interesting as the last 70 years. And you say, well, there's something before this. There's the 1560s, there's Chi Chi Guan, there's a Shaolin Short Strike. It's not as interesting as the one which came more recently. And it's like you go around in circles, you know. It's really frustrating. I don't know if you guys have this same resistance from people sometimes when you talk to them, Wing Chun friends and stuff, but for me it's a constant thing, a constant topic.
Let me tell you, I was in Asia in a meeting in the Chinese Kung Fu associations. When I brought out this thing, somebody walked out from me and calling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't have the cultivation like in their lineage and all those things. Okay, that is 3 months before. I think 4 months before Xi Xiaodong KO Ding Hao. I tell them exactly. You put your goddamn weight on the back, you get KO. People, you know, just say this and that. Well, why do I know? Am I genius? No. Chi Chi Guang Shaolin Short Strike already tell you. So after the thing get KO, now everybody shut up. So for me is that this is your ancestor. This is not Hendrik Santo. You couldn't even, you are so egoistic that you couldn't even admit that your ancestor have teachers and you don't know. That's how bad it is. So they lost all my respect. That's why I said, I don't want to be in martial art world. I'm in education and culture. And I'm in America. I don't even want to know about other things because that is the thing. Okay, that's my experience. You know, time is up. Let's continue on. I'm going to send you another link. Okay, another link. Let's continue on this if you want.